Hello everyone, I'm Mike DeAngelo with That's Entertainment, and this is your video review of Singularity by Raven Software. Time travel is a touchy subject. Games rarely ever present it well, and there are plenty of titles to attest to that. Rarer are the true gems that have a firm grasp on the element of time, and don't become convoluted because of it. These are your truly great games of all time. Chrono Trigger, The Ocarina of Time, and Braid for instance. All use time travel or manipulation seamlessly, yet in its addition, it somehow made the whole of the game more interesting. The most recent attempt to capitalize on the often poorly utilized time mechanic is a game called Singularity. Masked under the guise of a standard first-person shooter, Raven's game's major drawing point is the manipulation of time, together with a well-crafted story and some monstrous creatures. In Singularity's case, however, is this one of those times that the developer gets it right. During the Cold War era, the Russians were intimidated by America's grasp of atomic knowledge. After the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the fear of nuclear holocaust became all too real. Russia needed a bargaining chip, and they looked everywhere for it, finally settling their eyes on an island in the Pacific that became known as Katorga 12. Upon this island, they found a natural resource which they thought to use to bend America and the world to its whim: Element 99. Due to an unforeseen and catastrophic event, called the Singularity, the very existence of the island became classified. 55 years later, American satellites picked up a trace of the existence of Katorga 12 and the strange radioactive signal emanating from it. Nathaniel Renko, a Black Ops soldier, is among those sent to investigate. While the story is not one of the best in the business, it is one of the drawing factors of the game. Things are put together very well, and the game takes itself seriously enough to invest in itself confidently. For Raven, Singularity's narrative was not just a simple oversight. The game really shines because of its take on the bending of time elements. From the beginning of the game, strange things occur, and Renko sees brief glimpses of the past, almost as if he is watching ghosts. Things get even crazier when a rift on the island drags him back into 1955. Without giving too much away, the events of the past play into the story as much as the present and help to deliver the psychotic results more fully. Besides just the Russians who want to keep the United States from digging up their horrifying past, Renko has to deal with some terrifying creatures that had become tainted from their exposure to E99. Corpse-like monsters shamble towards you like zombies, hunchback mutations teleport through space and time, avoiding your attacks with relative ease, and colossal freaks smash through walls like paper or glass. But Renko doesn't have to rely on just simple mundane weaponry to find protection from these strange beasts. With an invention called the TMD, the time manipulation device, he too can utilize time to his advantage. Anything affected by E99 can be aged, either forward or in reverse. In this way, Renko can deteriorate crates to heaps of salvage metal, or turn a living, breathing soldier into a pile of ash. He can even restore 50-year-old containers to acquire the fully functional ammo or health that was once waiting inside them. While Singularity embraces both the story and the gameplay wholeheartedly, the presentation can be a little disappointing at some places. When you first arrive on Katorga 12, for instance, the fauna looks so bad you'd think you were playing a really old Nintendo 64 game. Other times, though, Raven gets it right, particularly in the old film presentations they show you. You can clearly see the potential of the game. The style of the game is usually consistently good throughout, though. You begin to accustom yourself to the music and sounds of the game as well. When faced with opposition, the song choice is usually indicative of whether or not you've eradicated every one of your enemies. Coupled with the sound, you clearly know what you're facing. The vocal work is another one of the tried and true portions of Singularity. Nearly all of the main characters in the game are voiced wonderfully, leading to an almost Bioshock caliber release. While the game rewards free thinking with the mechanics of the TMD, there really isn't too much verging off the path that you can do. The game is fairly straight and to the point, with a grand exception being the controversial ending. Throughout the game, though, there are plenty of ways to augment your own abilities, including upgrading your weapons or your abilities via the TMD. Singularity also provides a meager form of multiplayer. It feels a little tacked on, but it is still entertaining nonetheless. If you are one of the gameplay over graphics gamers that are able to dismiss some sparsely objectionable visual choices, Singularity will not disappoint you. The game is clever and smart, both in its writing and its mechanics, ensuring that you will be thoroughly entertained. The game takes its time getting to the full extent of its potential, but once it's there, it really does pick up the pace. That's Entertainment awards Singularity a score of 8.5 out of 10.